Hi, friends. Ugh, the light is bad in here. So sorry. I'm in my car again, as always. Let me turn this light up, see if that helps any. That went down. No, that washes me out even more. Let's try something else. Nope. Let's turn it off for now. When it gets dark, I'll turn it back up. Okay, sorry. This week coming up has always been a week that I look forward to every year. So Thanksgiving is coming up this week. I get to spend time with my family. We do that every year. The tradition is my mom and I have birthdays during the same week, and so we like to spend the Thanksgiving together. I think we've only missed twice in my entire life, and those were horrible years. I missed them terribly, but I was too sick to go, for both of them. So anyway, if you're on live, say hi. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and make a comment and say hi also. I love to hear from you. Other reasons I love this week is, you get a long weekend. So I get to spend more time with my husband. I don't get to see him much because, he's a teacher and has those long hours. And then now also we have BOGO week, which I think there's so much fun. It's not just the products. It's getting to talk to people and interact and just having a lot of fun and meeting new people. It's so much fun. I love it. And I get to spend time with you guys every single day, which I love because I love you guys, right? So let me begin. I'm going to say thank you for taking the time to fill out the survey that I posted yesterday. It was really enlightening. It really also helps give me an idea of what you're thinking and questions you may have about essential oils beyond what I've already talked about in my previous lives, my weekly lives, or, the other posts that I put up. If you see me looking over, it's because I have notes, because I have a lot of stuff I want to cover real quick today. And I don't want to miss anything because it's all important, right? And I want you to be able to hear what I have to say. So this week will go a long way in, let me go back. I scrolled down too far. Sorry about it. So thank you again for filling out the survey. While Dough Life with Jen is a business, right? The reason I started it in the first place, when I started with doTERRA in the first place, the very first thing was to improve my own health. And I wanted to remove toxic chemicals from my environment and find other natural ways to support my immune system especially. And then second, because I have a desire to help other people like you to be able to do the same. I mean, if that's a goal that you have, I would really love to help you with that, right? And I've learned so much on this journey that I feel a passion to pass everything that I learn on to you, because it's not a secret, and I want to share that. Okay. And this week I think will go a long way to do that. First I want to tell you, I'm not going to pressure you to buy anything. I just want to show you what's out there, and we'll talk more about that later, but I never want anybody to feel pressured, because that's not what I'm about. I'm about just helping you and your goals and answering your questions, okay? So today, I have some really specific things I want to cover. First, I want to cover how essential oils can really support your health issues, and some common concerns that others have shared with me before. I'd like to start out by telling you briefly about what led me to essential oils, and then why doTERRA in particular. Is kind of a complicated answer. Sorry about that, but I'll try to keep it short, okay? So for the past 27 years, I've really struggled pretty significantly with some health concerns, and I've been searching that whole time to find ways to support my body. I would say the last 15 years, I have turned to researching more natural, more toxin free, and instead of synthetic toxic laden medications and products. for my environment and for supplements and for food products and things like that. I try, because those synthetic toxic chemicals were really affecting my health, and the way my body was reacting to it was just was not good. And so my journey first started with finding natural ways to support my hormones. And then the next thing I did was to try to adjust my diet, to get away, to try to go more clean and more organic, and away from processed foods, right? And sugars. And then that helped a lot. But there was still something missing. It still wasn't quite right. And I wonder, if other people, I know other people struggle with that. And I wonder if that's something that you struggle with, right? So my immune system, I think, was the thing that struggled the most at that time. I mean, it was getting better. My gut health was getting better. But it was still a big struggle. And that was when I started, to isolate myself, and my quality of life really began to suffer. And my family was just, they didn't know what to do, because they felt me kind of, slipping away. So, anyway, I knew from the neuropsychology courses that I took in university that scent has a very powerful effect on the brain. And that's something that I can, go into, more scientific details on that if you want, but at a later date. So I set out to find a way to use scent to lift my mood. So I would use, scented candles, and all that would do was make me cough. And then, so that's when somebody said, hey, why don't you try essential oils? No particular brand, just, go to the health food store and, pick something up there. And so I did. I did a little research on, what scents would be helpful for what I was experiencing. Just, the feelings of sadness and isolation and frustration, things like that. And so I got some lavender and a couple of other things, because lavender's like the most popular essential oil, right? So, and they were okay for a while. I would diffuse them. That's the only way I knew to use them. And so it was okay. They were effective for a little while. But then they just stopped really working for me. And so I kind of slipped back into my isolation, because I didn't know what else to do. Anyway, my sister, about 1.5 years ago, she sent me my first bottles of doterra. I mean, I'd heard of doterra, but I didn't really know about doterra. The main goal that I had talked to her about was just, I was having a hard time sleeping. And so I wanted to support good sleeping habits. And because without good sleep, your whole system just kind of goes out of whack, and it affected my memory, and I just really couldn't function. So I put doTERRA lavender in the diffuser, and that was the first time in at least a year that I got a full night's sleep, about 7 hours. That's about as good as it gets for me. So, and then when I woke up the next morning, I wasn't totally exhausted either. So I ventured then, since that worked, I decided I wanted to try On Guard, because I'd heard really good things about the properties for immune system boosting. So I diffused that for about a week. I still, diffusion was pretty much the only method that I knew to use and that I felt safe with at that time. And so that in the next few months, there were some seasonal threats that my family had exposed me to, and it was interesting because for me, usually for me, they last 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever. And this time it was 3-4 days, and I felt better and stronger. So fast forward 18 months, and this girl right here, who would spend on average a week in bed every couple of months, I'm now able to have mostly good days. And I may be down 1 or 2 days in 3 months time. So that's, pretty significant. I mean, I wish I could share more about this with you because there's so much more I could tell you. There's so many pieces to my story, but I want to hear more about you. I care, this is about you, right? And I promise to keep it short. So, and I hope that something in my story, resonates with you, and that there's something there that say, hey, I'm struggling there too. And reach out to me. I would love to address that this week if we can. So, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was that there are some common concerns about essential oils that just, they keep popping up. And many people have them, and I even had them when I first started using essential oils. I was a real skeptic. I was like, this stuff doesn't work. It's kind of, whatever, it's woo. But so some of the questions that I get the most aren't all essential oils the same? Why are some brands more expensive than others? What about purity? And then what about organic? Shouldn't they all have an organic label? Okay, so let's talk about these. Okay, the simple answer to the first question is no. Not all essential oils are the same. I have come across essential oils that are sold in department stores and grocery stores and some health food stores that carry flammability warnings and toxicity warnings. Wait, aren't essential oils supposed to be safe and natural? Why would they be flammable? Essential oils aren't supposed to be flammable. And of course they're supposed to be pure and natural. And I also wondered, okay, so now that I've seen doTERRA, so why are these other ones so much cheaper than doTERRA? And that was one of my first objections to trying it, is because, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. It's so expensive. And I can address that for you later as well. And why do these ones from the store smell weird in comparison to doTERRA? doTERRA's kind of, wow, it just smells different and good. And there's something not right here. There's something that just doesn't make sense. So I dug a little bit deeper and discovered that many essential oil companies, in order to increase their profit margins, will add synthesized components of an essential oil's beneficial property, essential natural chemicals, right? So to be fair, some of these companies will add the components in order to try to boost the effectiveness of the essential oil. But recent independent research done by Roseman University that is being released now. Hey, Rebecca. This research indicates that this doesn't really work when you add the synthesized components. In fact, it makes that essential oil ineffective and potentially dangerous. Okay, so they also indicate that only essential oils that are pure, complete from their source, and unadulterated, so that means nothing else added to it, right, actually have an effect on the specific pathways for which they were intended. Okay, let me simplify that. Simply put, the whole of an essential oil is greater than the sum of its parts. So you can't take it apart and expect the components by themselves to work, because they won't. And you can't put them back together after you've taken them apart and have them work, because it won't. Only when it's direct from the plant, from the source, and pure will it work on those pathways. My mind was totally blown by that, and I'll just let you sit with that for a minute. But see, that purity also makes these essential oils more valuable, right? Pure essential oils cost more because they have to be grown and harvested where they grow best and are shown to have the highest quality. Specifically with doTERRA, you can always be sure that every single batch of an essential oil will have the same exact chemical profile. So there's a website that doTERRA has called Source to You. And when you have your bottle, I don't have a bottle in here with me to show you, but on the bottom of your bottles, there's a code that you can put into the website, and you can pull up a lab report from third-party labs that shows the chemical profile for that bottle of oil. And so, because I'm a bit of a geek, I love to look them up every time, just just to see those details. That's just, you know, how I am. And I've not been disappointed. They've been exactly the same every time. So the organic question. So that's been tossed around quite a bit recently, and I'd like to address that as well. So doTERRA sources their oils around the world. It's called co-impact sourcing. And so they're grown in places where the plant grows best. So like our lavender's grown in Bulgaria. That's where the best lavender grows. And then also France. Those are the two best places. And then our peppermint is grown in Washington State, like here where I live. Because that's where the peppermint grows the best and has the best, the best profile. So those crops are grown and harvested by independent farmers. And these farmers, these crops are their means of survival in most cases, because they're, small villages around the world, right? And the reason why doTERRA doesn't use certified organic label is because many of these countries, they either don't have an organic label or certification, or it would be so cost prohibitive that they wouldn't be able to survive on what they make. So that's why doTERRA does so much testing with the oils to make sure, here, I'm going to turn that, to make sure that they're pure. Okay. So even if every single batch is tested, I think, 11 different tests that they run, and then they're also tested by third-party labs to make sure that they're pure. And those labs will tell doTERRA, hey, if this batch is, this batch has a anomaly, it's got something wrong with it, there's a pesticide, or there's, doesn't quite match the profile. So instead of putting that out on the market, they'll destroy that batch. And so that is going to cost a little more because, you don't have as much out there. Anyway, so the purity is there. All of these things that I mentioned together, they help me to know that we all can use doTERRA essential oils with confidence. They're pure, they're unadulterated, they do what they're supposed to do. I am so confident in the fact that they are beneficial for everyone. I would really like to help you get started on your journey with essential oils to support your wellness and to live a more natural and toxin-free lifestyle. We're going to be talking about that more during this week. So this is BOGO week. It's truly, doTERRA does this so well. It's truly a buy one, get one free week. And I will be posting every morning about the deal of the day. And then later in the morning probably, I'll do a live video on the benefits of those products of that day. So, and just keep in mind that each deal is good for 24 hours. You can purchase up to 5 of the deals in that day. So, so the deal's good until midnight Mountain Time. So if you're on Pacific Time, that would be 11 o'clock, right? And this begins tomorrow morning. So exciting. So I will post a new text post and a video that goes over how to place a BOGO. I'll do that later tonight. I'll probably record the video, not do a live. So, but just be looking for that. And then I will post about our exciting giveaway at the end of the week. So you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure that you are following the page so that you can get all the notifications and make your put your settings so that you get all notifications. Otherwise, you might miss something. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yes, I will be saving many of these videos on my my YouTube channel. So I'll make sure that link should be available for you already in my last post. Anyway, so, a couple things. We already have a heads up on tomorrow's deal. So tomorrow's BOGO is buy one 15 milliliter On Guard. That's a wholesale value of $32. And you get a 15 milliliter Breathe, wholesale $20 for free. So I'll talk to you more about that in the morning, but I just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. So like, little teaser. Okay. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. And I know your time is valuable, so I'm gonna let you go. But I'd like to, if you have any questions that you might have, post them in the comment section. And I really, I can't wait for our conversations this week. It's gonna be really exciting, and I will see you in the morning. Bye, friends.